Okay, so welcome to our Christmas mix class. We hope you're going to enjoy the class tonight. It is a jam-packed class full of all the elements of ginger with a few extra surprises. So what I'll get you to do is to make sure that you are on mute throughout the class. And if you do have any questions, pop them in the chat. And then after the class, we can all come off mute and ask any other questions that you might have. All right, so what I'm going to do is, for those that don't know me, my name is Nat McFarlane, and I am the Business Development Manager for the Central Coast and the Hills District. And I'm joined by 5 of our team leaders in the Connects branch, which is the branch that I manage. So they're all going to show you their hints and tips tonight with some beautiful dishes. So we hope that you learn lots and take away lots of hints and tips from all our amazing team leaders tonight. So what I'm going to do is pass you over to Katie first, who is going to make our Christmas tree bread. So over to you, Katie.
Hi, everybody. So tonight, Christmas tree bread, as Nat said, I have pre-made some dough, but I'm going to go through the steps with you. Now, I'm just going to move my camera down a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Okay, so I've popped the recipe onto my planner. So that's just loading. Christmas tree pull apart bread. Start cooking. So 220 grams of water goes in. Oh, so close. 224, that's okay. Then I need 2 teaspoons of instant yeast, or you can use the fresh as well. And then pop the lid on, and we're going to activate that yeast. So for 2 minutes, that water's going to warm up to 37 degrees and get that yeast doing what it needs to do to make our dough nice and fluffy. So here's one I made earlier this afternoon. It's all wrapped up in my Thermomat, and it's lovely and soft. It's not very sticky because I add an extra 20 grams of flour to combat that stickiness. So that is the dough, and I will keep on going here. I've also got a pre-prepared tray. I've got my lovely rose gold baking tray and a Thermomix baking mat. So this replaces your baking paper. So you can reuse this over and over and bake on it. So nice non-stick surface. If you're making macarons, it has the little discs on there and also your measurements down the side. Do we have any avid bread makers in the audience tonight? Laura likes to make bread. So it does say lightly grease a large bowl with olive oil. So I've wrapped it in the Thermomat, so I don't need a greased bowl. And that's got 40 seconds to go. So my kids are super excited that I'm making this tonight because they get to eat it fresh out of the oven. The little balls of dough actually have mozzarella inside them. So they're going to be nice and cheesy and very delicious. What did you say, Laura? You like to make scrolls and focaccia? That's all I saw out of that message. All right, we're almost done. My dog's barking in the background. She can see me in the kitchen and thinks she's going to get food. So 400 grams of strong white flour. So that's just baker's flour. And as I said, I put in 20 grams extra just to make sure that the dough's not overly sticky and it's a lot easier to handle, all 30 grams. 30 grams of olive oil. I'm sorry about my dog. I need to get my kids to come and give her a stern talking to. Sugar, so just a teaspoon of sugar. Now, the reason for the sugar is the yeast feeds off that sugar and it helps in the activation process. some sea salt. So I've just got my little salt container. Now the cat started meowing at the dog. It's like it's a animal farm here. Okay, 2 minutes of kneading. So turn that dial and we're kneading away. So once that's finished, that's when you turn it out into your bowl or your thermomat and let it sit aside until it's doubled in size. So it's super easy. No mess, no flour or mess on the floor. It's all contained in here. So my next step after this will be to make the filling, which is just grating some cheese, which I have already prepared. So we've got a minute. So has anybody got any bread or dough questions we can talk about while this is kneading? No.
Who here makes bread often in the Thermomix?
This particular bread recipe is for the Christmas tree pull apart. So it's all included in the one recipe. We'll send all the recipe links, won't we? Do we usually do that?
Yeah.
Danny makes bread regularly.
Can I give a plug for a Christmas bread recipe?
Of course you can.
It's the spiced cherry brioche wreath. So if you haven't made that before, it's on Cookie Dough and it's amazing. And it's you mill a lot of spices, you use the knead setting, you use some nuts and cherries. I can highly recommend that recipe. That's a plug for that one.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful, beautiful recipe, that one. I've made it a couple of times and it actually looks really fancy. And when you look at it, you think, oh, there's no way I can make this, but it's really quite easy to make. And one thing, I'm sorry, I'm going to butt in quickly, Katie. Not sure if you are aware, but every Thursday for the next couple of weeks from 6 o'clock till 8 o'clock, we are running a House of Christmas in our Sydney office in Waterloo. So I will also pop that in the email. But that's a great experience for you to go and just check out our new office, our new space. We have lots of Thermomix mix shop items for sale, as well as a few cooking demonstrations. So we'll be making the honeycomb, the brioche wreath, a chutney and a lychee mocktail. So if you are not too far from Waterloo, I really suggest you pop down. So I will pop the flyer in the chat as well as in the email, follow-up email after this class. But I was there last week and our branch is actually running the one on Thursday, the 2nd of December. So, and it was a lovely experience last week and I'm really looking forward to the one in on the 2nd of December. So we'd love to see you if you are available and can come down to Waterloo. Sorry, Katie.
That's okay. So here is the dough. It's not an overly sticky dough, so it comes out quite easily. So if you twist your blades to release the dough, it just falls out. And the bowl's not too dirty, which means I don't need to wash it up between steps, which is my favorite. No washing up between steps. So that is the dough. It doesn't stick to my hands, so it's lovely and soft and really Play-Doh-like. Okay, so cover in cling film and leave for at least an hour. And now I've got Parmesan cheese. So 60 grams of Parmesan going in. Next, I'm going to grate that. I love grating cheese in the Thermomix. So 10 seconds and I've absolutely pulverized that Parmesan cheese into a lovely fine powder. So I will pop 2 tablespoons into one bowl. So this will be part of the filling that will get mixed with the mozzarella. So just a guess. And the rest back into my other little bowl. really so fine. And the beauty of milling and grating your own cheese in the Thermomix is you don't have all of those preservatives that they put in cheese to stop it from sticking together. And it's so much cheaper to grate it yourself. And it only takes 10 seconds. Okay, a garlic clove goes in. Okay. Next, so chop that up. And now 200 grams of mozzarella. I just have that chopped up into chunks. Oh, I didn't actually, yes. Oh, and the larger bowl of parmesan goes in, so it all gets mixed together. I could have just left it in, that's a bit silly. Okay. So now we're going to turbo it. 1 second. And I'm going to do it. I'm just going to check the consistency, and it's quite chunky, so I'm going to do it one more time. Have a look, that looks better. So press next, and I'm going to pop that in a bowl and set that aside. So there is the parmesan, the garlic, and the mozzarella in there. Now the next step is to start rolling the balls and filling it with this filling. So I'm going to do that while the next person starts their recipe, and I'll show you how I do it when they're finished. So I'll get busy rolling.
Fabulous. Thanks, Katie.
Katie. Oh,
Off you go, Laura.
sorry,
Over to
taking
you.
over. I'm just so excited to show you what I'm making. So I'm going to be showing you how you can make golden syrup in your Thermomix, because it's a common ingredient in a lot of Christmas baking, including gingerbread that I'm going to make in a second. So what I normally do is make the golden syrup and put it in the store squeezy bottle, because I find the squeezy bottle to be really easy to get it all out, and you just put it in with a funnel and it works really well. So all you need to make golden syrup is water and sugar and a little bit of a lemon slice. So it's really easy, and I'll show you how it works in guided cooking, just for those who haven't seen our guided cooking before. I've pulled up the recipe and I press start, and then we're going to put in the sugar. I've done the first step so that it's quicker for the class, but I put in some sugar and the scales come up when you need the scales. I've put on the water, I've put in my lid, and then I cooked that for 15 minutes. And now I can move on to the next step, which I'm ready for right now. So that sugar and that tiny bit of water has just been bubbling away in the Thermomix for 15 minutes. And now it's asking me to add 250 grams of boiling water. So I've had my other Thermomix on kettle mode to boil this water for me. And you can see the scales go up as I add in. It's really handy not to have to use measure cups, just pour straight in. Sorry, I don't want to go over. Some things it doesn't matter if you go a little bit over or under, but then certain things I will try and be a bit more precise, but 4 grams doesn't matter. And now we're going to put in some raw sugar. So once again, just grabbing your ingredients straight out of the pantry and pouring in, so you don't have to use those measure cups. So you can see it is a lot of sugar, but we are making a syrup. So that's obviously the main ingredient, but you can see how much money you can save making your own golden syrup rather than buying it from the store. You can save a few dollars there. This probably only costs, let's see, I'd say about $1 to make this if you think about the sugar. And then it's asking me to put in just a little slice of lemon, about 5 millimeters thick, and just a half. So that just helps it cook nicely. And we're going to take the measure cup off this time. So whenever a recipe asks you to take the measure cup off, that's basically because we want lots more steam to escape while it's cooking. So do pay attention to whether the recipe asks you to have the measure cup in or out, because it is important to the texture of the recipe. So this is going to cook for 35 minutes. So obviously free to leave the kitchen and let that bubble away while you go do other things. But for now, I'm going to set that aside and we are going to make gingerbread. So exciting. And so get my other Thermomix here. Sorry, I need to just do some maneuvering. It's not going to work. Oh. Sorry. Need to be careful of the cables, because if the cables are underneath the Thermomix, the scales are not going to work right. So get that bowl back. So I've put the recipe in my weekly planner. The internet's always slower when you are on Zoom. So I'm just using the recipe called Gingerbread biscuits. I love this recipe. I think it's really easy, and you can turn this gingerbread into obviously biscuits, but also a house. And I'll show you about that as well. So yeah, preheat the oven. Actually, can I just tell you, this recipe says to preheat the oven straight away. Don't, because you'll have it on for so long, because you need to chill the dough in the fridge for quite a while. So just that's one thing about that recipe. You can turn the oven on when you're ready to roll out your dough, and you know it takes you 10 minutes to roll it out, and then your oven will be ready. So yeah, so this is so easy. With all the ingredients go in at the same time. I love those recipes. It's just a lot easier. So we're adding, ooh, I'm bound to make a mess like I always do, but we'll see how I go. Just plain flour. And for those who are gluten-free, there is a different recipe on here. I think it's called Gingerbread People. That one is gluten-free. So you can find that recipe if you need to. There's also a recipe just for gingerbread, like traditional actual bread gingerbread that you can try as well. So many things to try. So the flour is in. And then we're putting in our spices. I've got ginger, and then I've got my Christmas spice mix that I make myself in a Thermomix, and we're going to talk about that a bit later as well, and some baking soda. So that all goes in. And now some brown sugar, which, did you know, at a pinch, you can actually make brown sugar in your Thermomix as well. I haven't done it, I've got to be honest and tell you that, but I always have it up my sleeve thinking if I ever run out one day and I need it and I don't want to go to the shop, I know there's that recipe there. And I think it's just molasses and sugar, because brown sugar is white sugar that has molasses added in it. So that can be done. And then our trusty golden syrup goes in. And yeah, you put quite a bit of that in, 150 grams. As I said, we'll send the recipes out with the recording of this as well. And then butter, we're doing 150 grams of butter. That should already be weighed. And I already put in a pinch of salt, and then an egg yolk. And just so you know, if you're going to be making the royal icing to go on top of your gingerbread, which is in the recipe as well, you keep the white for that, because the egg white goes in the icing and the egg yolk goes in the dough. Oh, my egg yolk just broke a bit. I want to make sure I get it all in. And I think that's everything. It is. So now we're ready to put the lid on and show you how awesome the Thermomix is at kneading, even though Katie already just showed you a second ago. I'm going to do the kneading dance. This is actually just combining the ingredients for a few seconds. And then, so that was 15 seconds of combining. And then we're going to scrape down, and then we'll be kneading. But already after that combining, it already looks pretty good. So we'll scrape that down. And then we're going to knead. So the kneading in the Thermomix is, it's actually a really strong push. The speed is like the equivalent of speed 3, but it's stronger than a normal speed 3. It's a very strong push. And then I don't know if you can hear it, but it stops and then goes the other way as well. So it's a really good turnover of the dough so that it kneads really well. And this only kneads it in 50 seconds for our gingerbread. So so quick and easy to make this, and my kids can do this without me being in the kitchen because they follow the guided steps and you can't really mess it up. So it's pretty easy. And then what I'm going to do is roll it out on the Thermomat. Now the Thermomat is really cool because it's silicone non-stick, and it just makes working with doughs and pastries really easy. So I am going to get all that out. And so how I do that is tip it upside down and then turn the bottom of the blades, and it all should just fall out, except for there's a bit around the sides. And that's okay, because what I'm going to do is work it into a ball. And you're supposed to let this chill in the fridge for, I think it says an hour. Let me just check. Yeah, about an hour. But I'm going to cheat today and do it in the freezer for 15 minutes. We'll see how that goes, which is fine. You can cheat and do it that way. The reason you need to chill your cookie dough is to let the fat, something about the fat, let the fat cool down. Yeah, and then it holds its place better in the oven. So it kind of stops cookies from spreading too quickly in the oven. You want it to kind of hold its place and keep firm. So it's good to chill it when you're doing things like using cookie cutters, whereas you know, things like choc chip cookies or whatever, where you just want them to cook, you don't need to worry about that, but it's good for gingerbread. Okay, I'm just going to work that into a ball really quickly, just like that, and I will put that in the freezer to chill. Now just quickly today, I'll just show you, I'm going to use people to be quick for the class. Hopefully they're done by the end of the class. But what you can do is divide this exact dough, use this same recipe for gingerbread biscuits, and you can use the Thermomix Mix Shop gingerbread house molds. You're going to divide this dough into 7 equal parts and fill your molds and bake it and put it together. And we can show you a little bit about that at the end, but I think we've got to get to Bev at the moment because we're running on a tight schedule. So that's me done for now, guys.
Thanks, Laura. Over to you, Bev. We're still on mute.
Can I just interrupt, sorry, Bev, really quickly, just to show you how I fill the little dough balls?
Of course you can.
Sure. So I rolled them all into little balls, and then you just flatten it out and just make a nice little circle. And then get the cheese. It's like a half a teaspoon. Well, into the middle there, a little bit more. Just like that. And then I just bring it up and pinch it all together on the bottom. Make like a little dumpling, and then that becomes the bottom, and then you've got the little ball to go into the tree. So I've got my daughter helping me, and we'll you can see it in the background just over there coming together.
Yeah, we can see it coming together in the background. Very cool.
And we'll pop it in the oven shortly.
Thanks, Katie.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to share a recipe with you that I have been cooking for a few years now. I'm going to get stuck into cooking, and I'll give you the bit of the back end to the recipe shortly. So it's called Grandma's Shortbread, and it's on the recipe community. And of course, we'll soon be able to put it up using Cookie Do 3.0, and we'll be able to do it as a guided recipe, which I can do, but I had a busy day and I didn't get to. So I'm just going to do it manually, but I'm certainly going to put this on my collection. Okay, so the first thing is to mill some sugar. So I'm just going to put in some white sugar, and it's 100 grams. So I've already weighed it. They're 101, that's pretty close. Okay, so we're going to mill that into a much finer sugar for 10 seconds on speed 9. So I'm going to go to the home, to manual, upside down. So 10 seconds on speed 9. That's going to make it pretty fine sugar. Okay, I notice we've all got the guitar going on, our Thermomixes. We all love that sound. It's my favorite. It's nice and gentle. Okay, so we've got some lovely fine sugar here, lots of sugar dust, making the air taste great. So there's only 3 more ingredients for these shortbread biscuits, and one of them is plain flour, which I've pre-weighed. So the flour is 260 grams, and there's some corn flour, which is 50 grams. And finally, butter that's been cubed, and the butter is 225 grams, but it's been in the fridge, it's chilled. So I'm going to pop that in. Okay. Who craves shortbread? I do, I love it. But pre-Thermomix, I just wanted to wait for Walker's shortbread to come on the shelves, because I didn't make my own. I never thought to do that. So, but now I would never buy shortbread, never. You don't need to. So we're going to mix this for 15 seconds on speed 6. And it develops into a crumble. Okay, so the creator of this recipe says at this stage, you can take a handful of this and sprinkle it over fruit. You might have made fruit compote. So you can see that's a perfect crumble topping, which would taste really buttery and shortbready. So that would be really nice on fruit. But we're making it into biscuits today. So again, I'm going to use the knead as well. So I need to knead it for 40 seconds. So I'm going to pop that in. Then I'm going to tell you something about this recipe. Actually, hang on, I better go to knead. Okay, let's go to home and let's go that way and go into upside down. Let's go to the dough mode and we'll go to 40 seconds. Okay, let's go. That's kneading. Now, a long time ago, back in 2012, I became a consultant. I discovered the Thermomix and knew straight away that I had to tell people about this. So I did my training with another consultant named Michelle, and we had to upload some recipes to Recipe Community. And she said, I think I'm going to upload my grandma's shortbread. I said, what are you going to call it? And she said, oh, grandma's shortbread. So, you know, this recipe goes back, it's a family favorite of many, many years ago. And here am I cooking it today, and I'm about to convert it to a guided recipe. So I thought that was really cool. And she's a customer of mine these days. She's, you know, didn't stay on as a consultant for as long as me. She hung around for a while, but these days she, you know, just upgrades to a new Thermomix when it's the time. Okay, look how clean that bowl is. It's a perfect mixture. It's all come together in a beautiful dough. So the recipe says now to put it into a log, but not a round log, a square log. And I know every time I make this, I love how well it works. If you can see what I'm doing, yeah, I think you can. So I'm making it into one big long log. And what I do then, you can make it a bit thinner if you want and make the log longer. You just turn it over and flatten each side by banging it down. And before you know it, you've got this perfect shape because it is perfect shortbread.
You make that look so easy, Bev.
It is really easy. The first time I made it, I thought, this is a winner. It not only tastes good, but it's so easy to make.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I get, this is from the mix shop, perfect, because you can cut on your Thermomat without, you know, having any issues of cutting through anything. Now 5 millimeters is the square. So I'm going to cut, these are only, it makes 32 pieces, by the way. And this recipe has 266 very positive votes. Now, if that's not saying something about this recipe, now that's, I'm not happy with that. Maybe I haven't used that before. So I'm going to use the dull edge of a knife to cut. Oh, that's much better. Scrap that. This is good for other things, but not for this. You can tell it's been a year since I've made this. Now I'm not going to let you watch me make all of these 32 pieces. The oven needs to go on to 160, which I haven't done. I'm just going to do that. 160. Now to decorate these, of course, you get a bit fancy and you get a fork and you put a few little holes in it, about 3. And when this bakes, it just looks so yummy and it tastes so good. So I'll just show you my 3 little bits. Oh, you can see that will be covered with them. They don't rise much because it's plain flour. And you'll see at the end of the class, there's hundreds of them. Well, maybe not. There's 32 actually, but it seems like a lot. Now, the last thing I wanted to mention, like I noticed everyone pouring their flour, and how often do you pour your flour and it actually doesn't land in the bowl, it actually lands on the Thermomix. I've always got this nearby now. It's my little, that helps me clean up my flour spills, which most of us make. This is a host reward at the moment, so make sure you contact your consultant and host and get one of those in your kitchen while you introduce another customer to the Thermomix world. That's all, except this is an old recipe of mine, Dayton walnut loaf. I was given that in the 70s. Another recipe that's gone up onto Cookie Dough 3.0. So all the TM6 owners out there, there's some great value in having a 6. So just make sure you're watching towards the end of the month, you'll have access to be able to put these recipes up. All right, that's me. I hope I didn't take too much more than 5.
No, Bev, that was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Over to you, Michelle.
Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'll be presenting brown sugar that Laura spoke about earlier and Brandy Custard. A few of my beautiful customers are on who actually earned the mini vac as a host reward. So I'd love to hear in the chat who's got the mini vac and what you love about it, and if you bought it or if you actually got it on a host reward. I earned mine as a consultant, so that's even another great perk of being a consultant as well. So unlike Laura, I make brown sugar all the time. I never buy it. I've always got my treacle in my pantry. One of these lasts me for years. I actually didn't write the date on this one. The last one I think I had in my pantry for about 2 years, and I make brown sugar regularly, and we're bakers in this house. So you really don't use too much. So it's not an extra item you've got to buy regularly. It sits in my pantry, and I've always got sugar on tap to make the brown sugar. So when you're buying raw ingredients, it's a lot cheaper than buying the more processed our food is, the more expensive we're paying, and also the packaging also. So I have actually uploaded this onto Cookie Dough 3.0. So Nat, I'm on 2 devices. If you just find my one, yeah, lovely. Let's put that in like that. So for those of you who may not be aware, Cookie Dough 3.0 is being launched in a few weeks. The team leaders have had the pleasure of trialing it. So we've been having a little bit of fun. So it's just super, super simple. You just go into Cookie Dough and I've just copied and pasted the URL into my Cookie Dough account on my laptop. And now I'm just going to go into my menu and go into my recipes. Can you see that all there? Yep. And you can see here there's a new tab, which is created recipes. Okay. And then I've loaded up all these recipes here, but I'm going to be talking about the brown sugar today. So this is a recipe that is on the recipe community. So it's one that I use all the time. I actually don't use the recipe anymore. I know it off by heart, but we'll pretend that I don't. So we're going to start cooking. You can see there's a picture of our normal recipes, and you can amend this too. So if you tweak it that you want to make double or you add a secret ingredient, you can actually do that. There's, yep, I was just about to say there's somebody in the waiting room. So I'm just going to start cooking. And there we go. It gives me the instructions here. So it says to put my sugar in, then add the treacle. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit the scales. It tells me how much raw sugar and how much treacle to put in. So I'm going to start with the raw sugar. So it's basically a cup of raw sugar. So I'm going to do 250 grams. My 9-year-old daughter's also got this recipe down pat. She loves baking like all little girls do. So she'll say, oh, Mum, there's no brown sugar left. I'm going to make some before I start cooking. So it's a really great way to train the next generation as well. So 250 grams of sugar. Now I'm going to tear those scales. I'm putting 15 grams of treacle. The trick with this too is try not to put it on in the middle of the blade. Try and put it on the side, because if you get it in the center of the blade, it sort of sits there. Okay, and now it just says, oh, hold on. I supposedly edited it, but obviously I didn't edit it too well. So mix on speed 6 on reverse until combined for 20 seconds, about 20 seconds. So I'm going to go here, 20 seconds. I don't want to forget to put it on reverse because we don't want to blend that sugar down. So on the TM6, it's just pressing that little button there. It's reverse enabled. And now number 6. I'll just go around to number 6. Have a little look at that. Okay, I think it needs some more treacle, so I'm just going to do another little dollop. Seems to be too much sugar and not enough treacle. So, as I said, I normally don't follow a recipe. I just go off my nose, so I'll just do that. Reverse and number 6. That's it. So now I'll edit that recipe to say to add double the amount of treacle. So I'll do 30 grams instead of the 15. And there we go. That's our homemade brown sugar. How easy was that? So 250 grams of sugar. It's 11 cents per 100 grams. So that's literally probably cost me 30 cents to make 250 grams of brown sugar. I'm sure that's a lot cheaper than the store-bought brown sugar. Does anybody know how much brown sugar costs? Okay, maybe somebody might be able to Google what it costs in the supermarket, and we can have a little look at that. So now what I love recipes that you don't have to clean the bowl. So that's what my bowl looks like. We're going to add sugar in the next dish that I'm making, the brandy custard. So I'm not going to wash it.
No, Mum.
Okay, I'll just exit out of that recipe. Sorry, my daughter just wants to say goodnight. Okay. Now we're going to go into my week, and I've got the brandy custard saved. So it's a TM6 recipe, so we're going to be using the thickening mode on this recipe. So raw sugar, 70 grams of raw sugar. So I've already got the brown sugar in there. I might just do 40 because we don't add a lot of sugar to our food. And this is the joy of a Thermomix. You can be changing recipes up to however you like it. You've got a secret ingredient or whatever you might like. So Christy said $3.75 for 1 kilo. So, 22 cents or whatever I said it costs is a lot cheaper. Okay, so I'm just going to turn that to number 9 for 15 seconds. Can you hear me, Nat, while I talk over this or not? Yep. Another great recipe from the festive flavours is the $250 cookie recipe. So look that up. That makes oodles of recipes of cookies. I think like 100 or something ridiculous. And you can also pop the sausage dough in your freezer, cook up the batch, and then store that in the freezer. So if you do have unexpected guests dropping in, you can quickly cut it and bake those up really quickly. I've done that before. And you can also wrap that up lovely for Christmas presents as well. Buy some nice glass jars and ribbon, and everyone's got a cry cut machine these days. You can do some jars up lovely. So we've just milled that sugar down, ready to go. This recipe is a little bit different to our traditional custard recipe by we're adding cream. So it's 200 of cream and 200 of milk. Let's tear this. So one thing that you can have your brandy custard with is obviously your gingerbread, but also your puddings and different things like that. So I'd love to hear what you like to have custard or brandy custard with at Christmas time as well. So milk 200, so even quantities, 200 of milk and 200 of cream. So this one's not probably so easy to make dairy free, but the regular, you wanted to make brandy custard and you wanted a dairy free option, you can just do the regular custard and just use a dairy free milk also. And 3 eggs, which I did crack earlier. It's lovely to see so many familiar faces on tonight, lots of my customers on, so welcome. All loving their Thermomix and getting ready for Christmas is what we like. And some brandy, so 40 grams of brandy. The brandy I'm using today, a lovely customer, her husband made it for me. So there's a little swig left, I'm just going to throw it in to be extra strong. My husband will be having the brandy custard in our house. So I'm going to pop the lid on. And I need the back because I've just put all the icing sugar all over everywhere. And this is what the thickening mode looks like. So the time's not set. It's going to heat it up to 80 degrees. And you can see that we've got the jug there. So it's indicating thickening mode. So when I turn this, it's going to work out the quantity and how long it's going to take for the perfect consistency of that custard. So thank you. Any questions, just put in the chat and we'll get back to you.
We've got one question. How did you know to add more treacle?
Just because I make it all the time, it wasn't combined, it was just more raw sugar. You could tell that there was not enough treacle. You want it to look like brown sugar, and the treacle is what gives it that consistency.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. And we do have a few with their hands up. Is that Rhonda and Christy? Did you want to ask a question?
I think Christy was just telling us she earned the vacuum. She's got the mini vac, maybe. And Christy said that Ryan, who's my friend that we do cooking with every week, he's finally won his dad over on the Thermomix. He was a bit sceptical, but now he's telling all his mates about it, which I love.
Lovely, lovely. All right, well, thanks, Michelle. Now, I believe we are going back to Katie. Is that right? Is your bread ready or we need some more time?
Okay, so I've just popped it in the oven. So the next step is what I did was do an egg wash over the top of the bread. And now I've just got to make the butter to put on top when it comes out. So that'll melt over the top and be super delicious. So I've got some fresh rosemary and basil, and that goes in. Basil is next. And I'm going to chop that up. So around to speed 7. So all of those herbs, my son's playing with the cat in the background, are all nice and chopped, nice and finely, and it smells absolutely amazing. And then 30 grams of unsalted butter. So that goes in there. Next. And that is just going to cook for 2 minutes. So get all melty and delicious. So when the hot bread comes out of the oven, I'm just going to paste it over, and it's going to be so yummy. So when that comes out of the oven, I'll let you know, but it's about another 10 minutes away.
Fabulous, Katie. Thank you. Amanda, are you ready, or would you like me to step in with? No, you're ready to go?
Want me to?
If you're ready to go, let's go, and then I can go. I can talk about all the offers afterwards.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to have a couple of minutes while we do the butter. Now, this may sound like a really basic recipe, but it scared me. For a very long time, my sister, who was a consultant, was the same, but we're going to do made from pure cream, And we're also going to do the spice mix, which can be used for so many recipes, including the gingerbread. But I'm going to start with the butter, and then just for the sake of expediency, I'm going to move across to my second machine, and we're going to do the spice mix just to show you how quick it is. But we'll start with the butter first thing. Now, who's made butter in their Thermomix? I'm a little bit curious because it seems to scare a lot of people, rightfully so, but it's actually a really easy recipe. So, throwing things around. So the first thing is that your butterfly whisk goes into the bowl. Nice and easy. Here we go. So we pop the butterfly whisk in, and then we are going to, I'm going to go back out of the fridge now. We're going to pop 600 mils of pure cream. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you get pure cream that is nearly out of date from the supermarket, that's actually perfect for butter. So if you get it discounted, awesome, grab it. We're going to chuck 600 grams of pure cream in. Now, I'll probably get shot by every team leader and consultant out there, but when I have thickened cream, which I know has gelatin in it, I make butter out of it. You know what? Better than it going to waste. It's not perfect, but I can make great butter out of it and still use leftovers. So Michelle just mentioned she got 4 tubs for 67 cents. So keep an eye out in the dairy section. So I put 600 grams of pure cream in. Now we're going to put, let's swap lids around, lid and measuring cup on. And we are, before I turn that on, 1 minute on speed number 4 to get that started. So, and we're going to prolong that time if we need to. So what we're doing, Nat, can you guys hear me? Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Beautiful. So what we're doing right now is that's going to whip that pure cream, and it is going to separate into solids and liquids. Your liquids will become buttermilk, and your solids will become the butter, and it's a 2-step process. So that's going to go for 30 seconds. I'm going to check it, and if we need to, we'll prolong it. Beautiful. All right. So, as I mentioned, it's not a preference, but if you have thickened cream that's going out of date, it does have additives, but you can turn it into butter. It's not as good as using pure cream though, just be aware, but keep an eye out because those creams that are going out of pure cream that goes out of date and is marked down, really great opportunity to stock up to make your own butter. All right, I'm going to give you a little bit of a look here. Can you guys see that? How the liquid, there you go, Michelle used expired cream as well. Spot on, there's no waste with the Thermomix. So you can see there, we've got some really clear solids separated from the liquid. And if we hit next, it tells us to remove the butterfly whisk and use the simmering basket, strain liquids from the solid, reserving the buttermilk for later use. All right, so who's cooked with buttermilk before? I'm just going to grab this bowl and my simmering basket and there we go. So I've just tipped the butter into the simmering basket. Done. So we've got our butter solids and our buttermilk there. Now, can you see in the chat what people use their buttermilk for? I'm curious. And does anyone know how to make buttermilk with ordinary milk?
So far, it's myself and Laura. I make pancakes with the buttermilk and Laura makes bread.
Awesome. And does anyone know how to make buttermilk if you don't have it, or to substitute buttermilk?
Oh, soak chicken for crummy. Yeah, amazing. Banana bread, now they're all coming. Scones, banana bread, pancakes, scones.
So guys, if you don't have buttermilk, it's not the end of the world. A little bit of full cream milk with some vinegar, just do a Google substitute. That's the beauty of Thermomix. If you don't have an ingredient, Google substitute. All right, so now we're going to chuck in 500 grams of chilled water. So you can see here I've got some water with some ice in it. I'm going to throw that in, 500 grams. This might take a minute, sorry guys. But I wanted to leave this as long as possible to make it as cold as possible. You really want chilled water. Don't think cold water in the fridge. You want chilled. All right, so we've got our chilled water in there. And we're going to add back in the butter solids. Pop that back in. And we're going to pop our lid and measuring cup back on. And we're going to turn that to speed 4 for 5 seconds. All right, liquids and solids should separate again. Okay, so now we're going to grab our simmering basket for a second time. And we're going to use that to strain the solids again. So I'm going to tip this in here. All right. Does anyone use the wastewater from the second wash? I'm curious because I don't. I tip it out, but I'd love to know if you use it for anything. But how amazing does that butter look? And what did that take? 5 minutes? Have a look at that, guys. And here's the best part. So I've given that a drain. And I don't know how many of you have this, but I love it. It is the butter bowl. So I do a lot of baking that uses unsalted butter. And there's nothing worse when you get to the step in the recipe and it says put the butter at room temperature into the recipe. You think, oh goodness, now I've got to wait. So this is the butter bowl available on the mix shop. It's a French idea. So you put some water in the bottom and the butter simply goes in top and sits in there with a little bit of water in the bottom that keeps it fresh for days, if not weeks. And you have room temperature butter that you use for cooking, on toast, anything you like. Butterbell, best thing ever. It saved me so many hours when I'm cooking, waiting for the room temperature. So I would love to know, you can also roll this into squares. You can add some oil so that you get spreadable butter, etc. But was that scary? No, it's actually really easy and really simple. So give that a try, especially if you've got some cream going out of date or you see pure cream reduced. You can, no, so that you do not need to pop into the fridge. Put a little bit of water in the bottom and it stays fresh for days and weeks. It's on hand, ready for cooking. It does not need to go in the fridge. Now, I'm going to do for you next is the spice mix. So Laura, sorry guys, I'll move that out of the way. Laura mentioned the spice mix before. It is so quick and easy and you can use it in so many different recipes. Who has done, it is out of stock at the moment. However, the bundle with the butter bowl and the butter knife, I believe are still in stock. So have a look online for those. All right. So next I'm going to do the spice mix. Let me go in and search that. Actually, it might be already in there. Who's used the spice mix before and what recipes do you use it for? I'll apologise. I've got family going to bed in the background. So, oh, it's out of stock. Well, you guys, if something's out of stock in the mix shop, just be aware. You can actually register. So as soon as it comes back into stock, you get an email alert. You're the first one that gets to order it. All right. So we're going to go spice mix. I'm going to show you how easy this is. I apologise. The internet's a little bit slow. Guess what, guys? My internet just died. Hang on.
Hey, Nat, while Amanda's doing that, my custard's finished. I don't know if you wanted to.
Please, can you do that for a second?
So this is the brandy custard, and I've just put them in little yogurt jars. So you can present it like that, and then people can pour the custard, the hot custard, onto whatever they're eating, their pudding or their gingerbread or whatever. Or I'm going to seal them now and pop them in the fridge, and then that will set, and we can eat them out of those lovely yogurt jars.
Fabulous.
Thank you, Michelle. All right, it's up and running. I do apologize. I've got 5 kids on the internet tonight. All right, so Christmas spice mix. This is really quick and easy. You can use it for a number of recipes. So first thing, 3 cinnamon sticks. 1, 2, 3. Now I've pre-measured this just for the sake of expediency. 3 star anise or star anise, depending on how you pronounce it. Then we have 1 teaspoon of ground allspice, 1 teaspoon of whole black peppercorns, ground cloves, coriander seeds. There we go, guys. So these are all common spices you'll have in there. Then we've got the caraway seeds. Then we have 3 teaspoons of ground nutmeg, ground ginger, and ground cardamom. So guys, just a really quick look in there. You've got all those spices. Pop your lid on. And this is going to blend for 1 minute. So I don't know if we want to go to someone else while I blend that for 1 minute and show everyone what it looks like at the end, guys.
Fabulous. Thanks, Amanda. Laura, want to? Oh.
I was just going to say, I can show you my end result of my gingerbread and golden syrup because it's just come out of the oven. The golden syrup, the last step is to remove that lemon slice and pour it into a glass, whatever, to leave uncovered for an hour to cool. And already it's been about 5 minutes and already it's getting quite thick. But at the end of the hour, it's a very thick syrup, same as what you'd buy in the store. I don't know if you guys can see. It is beautiful and it smells so good. And the gingerbread, I've got a few trays out, but it's just, get my what's it called, spatula thingy. These are perfect to dip into the brandy custard that Michelle has just made. The combo of gingerbread dipped in brandy custard is amazing, but in the recipe you can make royal icing and then use you can use a normal piping bag, use the very smallest nozzle, or the mix sells disposable piping bags, so you can cut the tiniest little hole in the corner so that you can be really detailed in decorating your people. If you're doing a house, you need a bigger hole because you need to really use that icing as like the mortar to put your house together. So gingerbread is obviously great like this, but there's a few other fancy things you can do with it. Like if you haven't tried the gingerbread pavlova stack from Festive, I cannot recommend it enough. It is like my whole extended family's favorite pavlova recipe. And aside from putting ginger in the actual egg white mix, you crumble some gingerbread in between the layers and it is so good. There's also a recipe on Cookie Doo for gingerbread ice cream. So you make a traditional vanilla ice cream custard that you're going to then freeze and churn in your Thermomix. But when you churn it, you add in gingerbread. Really good. We love that one as well. Yeah, anyway. And as I said, the house, yeah, we do have a picture to show you of the house. We didn't have enough, I didn't have enough time to pre-prepare and show you a house live tonight, but hopefully you're inspired to work with all your gingerbread and get it happening because the kitchen smells amazing and just the flavor of the gingerbread is so good. So, all right, I'll send you back to Amanda.
Thanks, Laura. You've definitely inspired me to make a few more that pavlova as well with the ginger, because I've always made the berry pavlova, but now I think I'll try that one this year.
It's seriously so good with it's like got a butterscotch sauce you put over it as well. Oh, it's like seriously so good.
Laura, you're making me hungry. Thank you. All right, guys, so just really quickly, that was, as you saw, about 30 seconds to throw the spices in, and there you go. There is your Christmas spice mix. Now I'm going to show you a really quick tip. There we go. So if you want to get this into your jars, and you can do this with just about anything, including the cupcake pans and everything to avoid mess, you can actually put your lid over the top. So just make sure you can see there. So I put the lid over the top of my jar, and I'm just going to go hell for leather here. There we go. It's ended up everything. That's fine. And then I can put the rest in, or I can tap it in from the other side. I'm doing this in a hurry, so it's a little bit of a mess. But there you go. So you can pop your lid in so you can avoid mess, especially with liquids. But there is your spice mix, and you can use that for just about anything for Christmas. Smells amazing. So good. It just reminds me of Christmas. Have a great night, guys.
Fabulous. Thanks, Amanda. And that's a really good little dish, the spice mix, to add to your Christmas hampers. So I just wanted to see whether Bev, oh no, it looks like Katie's ready and Bev's ready as well.
I'm ready. So
Oh, wow.
Here is my Christmas, oh, it's so hot, Christmas buns. Here is the herby buttery mixture. So I'm just using a spatula just to spread it. Oh, you should smell it. I wish you could smell it. It smells absolutely amazing.
It looks absolutely amazing.
Oh, basil would have to be my favourite herb. So it's very basil-y. And then I ended up rolling up the other batch of dough as well. My daughter's going to take it into work tomorrow. So there'll be some happy Dan Murphy staff members tomorrow at Bay Village. And then that reserved Parmesan cheese, just give it a little sprinkle, and that's going to kind of just melt in. And
this is why I love these classes. So Michelle has actually just said, I have never made this one. And
I've never made it either.
Neither have I. And I think that's amazing. So,
It's so good.
not only are we inspiring our customers, we're inspiring each other.
So let me just pull one apart so you can see. It is really hot. Let me get a bit of paper towel. No. Oh, look, it's so good. The kitten has jumped up on the stool to come and check it out. But if I can pull it apart.
Don't hurt yourself.
Oh, wait. You can see the cheese.
Oh, wow.
Cheese is yummy. So if it tastes half as good as it looks and smells, it's going to be amazing.
Love it. Thanks, Katie. And
No
that's
worries.
definitely going on my list. Over to Bev with the shortbread.
Yes, and you'll see that it's been a while since I've made these because I didn't spread them very well, and they still need a bit more browning, but I'm going to show you. Hang on a minute. I would call this almost the mother of Grandma's shortbread cookie. There's one big cookie, but really, seriously, as they brown, they will break apart.
Absolutely.
They're supposed to get a little bit golden. So
these ones at the front look great, Bev.
I think you might take the side ones off and just put the middle ones in for a little bit longer and get them a bit browner. But these are just amazing. Jeff and I have a cuppa. We'll probably eat about 4 or 5 of these each before we go to bed.
They look great.
Maybe not.
Thanks for sharing.
Okay.
Thanks, Bev. So now,
and Nat, do you have the picture of my gingerbread house? We can show people to get inspired about that as well.
I do. Well, what I'll do is I will start sharing. I've got a little bit of a PowerPoint.
Oh, wow. You're so organized. I know we've got so many offers to share.
I've just done it now. So can everybody see that? The gingerbread.
Yes.
Yes?
This was my last year's gingerbread house because I haven't done one yet this year.
Yes, but in all fairness, we did have another team leader that was going to make the gingerbread today. So And we were only found out that she was ill and couldn't attend tonight. So to try and make Laura make a gingerbread after our big team leader meeting was probably a bit of a big call and big ask. So we decided to add an image of that. But it's a great activity to do with the kids as well. And the molds are really quite cheap from the mix shop. So make sure that you jump on the mix shop and grab yourself one of those molds. But I love what you've done there with the licorice as well, the bullets, the white raspberry bullets at the bottom. That looks great. You can get
my tip on the house, I'll just share one tip. Decorate each wall and roof first before putting it together. Because if it's all decorated, then, you know, because some people who put it together first, then you're working with it and trying to add things and your hand could, you know, collapse the house. And that's when you need the dinosaur to come in and make it look like it's on purpose. But if you decorate each wall and roof first, then you put it together and it all just stays together nicely.
Very creative. Love it. All right. So really quickly, for those that may not be aware, we've got an absolutely phenomenal offer on at the moment. So when you purchase your TM6, you can add a second bowl blade and lid set for $29. Now, this offer has never been out before. You would have probably seen an offer last year. I think it was around $99. But this is just phenomenal. $29 for an additional bowl blade and lids, and it's valued at $375. But we really, if you are considering an upgrade or looking to purchase another Thermomix to partner up with maybe your first TM6, we really suggest that you jump on board, because we have been notified the stock levels are getting low, and we really don't expect this offer to run till the 2nd of December. So if you have been sitting on the fence and considering an upgrade or buying a second Thermomix or investing in a Thermomix for the first time, you really can't beat this offer. Plus, we also have 36 months interest-free, which we're currently offering, which is a great way to pay off your Thermomix at just $16.83 a week. And also you can earn your Thermomix by becoming a Thermomix consultant. So I'm going to play a little video shortly after we finished our segment for anyone that wants to find out a little bit more about the business. But before I do that and pass you over to Michelle, I just wanted to quickly show you the Thermomix open house that I was talking about. So our next one was tonight, and the following one will be next Thursday, which will be the 25th of November. And then our branch, the Connects branch, will be running the 2nd of December. And then we do have one on the 16th. So like I said, you can come down. If you actually are looking to purchase a Thermomix, you can pick one up from the office on that day and purchase it and walk out the door. So that's something that's never been offered as well. We've got lots of mix shop items available for sale. And that's where I'm going to pass you on to Michelle, who is going to go through really quickly some of the mix shop items that are available, and a really good Christmas present. So this will go out in your email as well, follow-up email. And if you are in short distance to Waterloo and would love to come down, we would absolutely love to see you. All right, over to you, Michelle.
Hello again. So I have just got a little collection here of all different things Christmassy, and we have touched some of them now. Some things are to use for Christmas, but also to gift as a Christmas present. So can you just spotlight me so I can just see what I'm doing? Sorry. So the bun.
You are spotlighted.
Oh, okay.
Can you not see yourself?
Might be.
I did spotlight you. Oh wait.
Right there.
Oh.
There we go. Yep. So the bump tin, this is great for cakes and presenting things really lovely. So that makes a lovely gift. Really strong cast iron. Rose gold. Just remember to use real oil when you're using these. Don't use the spray oil with all the preservatives, because they do damage the rose gold on there. These are really cute. These are sphere molds, which you can do some fancy desserts with. So when I bought them, if you bought 2 packs, you got a discount. So I've got 2 packs. The beautiful rose gold Christmas cutters. I'm sure if Laura used these ones, but they're just absolutely gorgeous. You've got an angel, Christmas tree, gingerbread, reindeer, snowflake, a candy cane. Really gorgeous. I love this. This is a really, really cute present. So a rose gold spatula and knife with, how many, is it 6 little forks for dessert. So this is only $29. If you wanted to give somebody a lovely present, whether it's a housewarming or a thinking of you or a Christmas gift, it's a great Kris Kringle gift. I think it's only $30. It's a bargain. So I love that. Jam funnel, which Christy had commented that she loves. I think that's $10 in the mix shop, so you don't have to spend a lot of money. Our molds that Laura was talking about, our gingerbread molds. So silicone, I've had these since I've been a consultant, so 7 years, and they're still going strong. I lend them out to my team, so they get gingerbread houses each year, not just buy one that I make. I think that's $30 for the gingerbread houses. This is all off the top of my head. This is the piping bag that Laura was talking about with one of the nozzles on there. Katie rose gold tray. This is in a bundle. I've actually bought the bundles. This is the extra large tray. It goes down to large, medium, and a small one. These mats are fantastic. So the large one's got the round cut out. I think it's that's the extra large. This is the large one, and this is great. If you've got kids to bake, my daughter loves to make her signature biscuits, and it just the kids where to actually position the biscuits so they don't actually touch. So that they're great. And they're really great value. I think they start at $10 each, up to about 15 or 20 maybe. And then in the pack, you can buy the whole trays with the rose gold track there to cool your biscuits down as well. And what else do I have here? Wonderful anniversary cookbook, which is absolutely gorgeous, and I've got that open on some mini pavlovas there. The bamboo cookbook holder. We spoke about the butter bowl. And then underneath is the thermo mat, which both Laura and Katie use. So you can actually unlock that with host rewards as well. They have been in stock, but now they are in stock too. So get onto the mix shop, great for Christmas shopping, but also you can buy vouchers for your family and friends, or if you got, most of you guys own Thermomixes, so you can actually ask for a mix shop voucher, and then you can go shopping in January or Boxing Day and pick up some great things. Anyone, if they want to see anything, but you're my customer, if you're not, PM me, and I've got most of the mix shop in my house, so I can show you if you've got any questions. Thanks, guys, and Merry Christmas.